Welcome to the inauguration ceremony for the 19th President and Dean of Albany Law School, Cinnamon P. Carlarne. At this time, please remain standing or please stand for the singing of the national anthem, sung by 3L student Alexia Wilson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Thank you, Alexia, for that beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Good afternoon, students, faculty, staff, alumni, trustees, and friends to the inauguration of Cinnamon P. Carlarne as the 19th President and Dean of Albany Law School. Today is a celebration of our law school and Dean Carlarne as she continues her tenure as the leader of this great institution. I would like to offer a special and warm welcome to Dean Carlarne's mother, Shirley Gilbreth, and her daughter, Tilly Carlarne. Would you both please stand and be recognized? In honor of them both, we have the Texas flag flying today for them. In addition, let me also recognize Dean Carlarne's partner, Professor Keith Hirakawa, and his sons, Ethan and Owen Hirakawa. Will you all please stand, please? I would also like to welcome from Congressman Paul Tonko's office, Manik Elahi, if he is here. Manik, if you can please stand. Okay. And Stefano Perez, Chief of Staff and General Counsel to the New York State Assembly. Thank you for being here. I would also like to offer sincere thanks on behalf of Albany Law School to the many universities and colleges who have sent representatives to this ceremony to share in this momentous occasion. The names of the representatives and the college and universities are found in your program in listed order by their founding date. We are honored with your attendance today. Thank you. In addition, we are honored to have Gary Jenkins, the 9th president of Bates College, who will be offering the keynote address today. And we are grateful to the panelists who presented yesterday at Visions of Leadership, the moments and voices that drive change, with Professor Kathy Noren from The Ohio State University Moritz College of Law, Rob Capers from the Albany Law School, class of 1996, and Chief U.S. Probation Officer for the Eastern District of New York, and Professor Maxine Burkett, Professor of Law at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, and Assistant Director of Climate, Ocean, and Equity in the White House, Office of Science and Technology. Thank you yesterday for your contributions to the inauguration ceremonies. Albany Law School, founded in 1851, is the nation's oldest independent school of law. Our independence makes us who we are and what has made us unique across the landscape of legal education. In fact, in 2026, the law school will celebrate the 175th anniversary of its founding. In the mid-19th century America, the standard preparation for the bar was a legal clerkship. The school's founders, Amos Dean, Ira Harris, and Amasa Parker, all successful lawyers active in public affairs, felt that this approach fell short in preparing new lawyers. The trio set out to replace it with a structured educational program that encompassed both thorough knowledge of the principles of law and experience in applying them. Their philosophy of legal education caught hold, and Albany Law School flourished. The combination of theory and practice continues to be a hallmark of an Albany Law School education. The three did something truly remarkable and incredible at the time. They founded an actual school for the study of law. In fact, in 1851, there were just 15 law schools in the United States, and only 2 in the Northeast. One was in Cambridge, and one was in New Haven. Albany Law School has attracted and produced many historically distinguished alumni. Many, but certainly not all, of these alumni are featured prominently around the campus and in this room today, and highlight leadership in government, in academia, and industry. In 1875, Albany Law School published the nation's first student-edited law review, the Albany Law School Journal, and an innovative lecture series on legal ethics began just after the turn of the century. Throughout the 20th century, Albany Law School expanded and diversified the faculty, the curriculum, and the student body. It added important programs such as the Albany Law School Clinic and Justice Center, now the Edward P. Swire Justice Center, in which students and faculty provide legal support for low-income citizens. The Government Law Center, a highly respected resource for law and policymakers in Albany and elsewhere around the country. Albany Law School is excited to begin the next chapter in the history of this significant center for legal education. And at this time, it is a great honor to call up to the podium the chair of our Board of Trustees, Dan Grossman, class of 1978, and he will now offer greetings on behalf of the Board of Trustees of Albany Law School. Dan.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the trustees of Albany Law School, I would like to welcome all of you to this amazing moment in the life of our law school. It is not every day that we have the opportunity to inaugurate a new president and dean, and I could not be more delighted to again formally welcome Cinnamon Carlarne to our community. Dean Carlarne has been on the job since July 1st and has had to immediately take the reins on some pressing issues facing the law school, including working on the implementation of our comprehensive strategic plan. Having served on the search committee who brought us our new dean, I can tell you that all the attributes and skills that we saw in this tenured, talented leader has been put to good use early in her tenure. Dean Carlarne, we as the trustees continue to be impressed by your thoughtful leadership, your grace under pressure, and your dedication and commitment to our law school, and we have absolute confidence in your ability to lead us forward as we move to even greater heights. Your charge is clear: make us a better law school. Help our students become great lawyers and leaders, help our faculty excel in teaching and scholarship, and be the face of the law school with our alumni, your peers in legal education, and with business, industry, and educational partners at home and abroad. The law school is proud of its origins and its status as the oldest independent law school in the nation, but is even more excited about the future. Once again, on behalf of the trustees at Albany Law School, welcome to you and your family, and we know that you will continue to do great things for our beloved school. Thank you.
Okay, so now this is the fun part. When we started planning this inauguration, the dean was very serious about including all of our community as a part of this program. And so, at this time, we're going to hear a series of greetings from the Albany Law School community, the staff, the students, faculty, as well as the judiciary and the city of Albany. They will now come forward to offer welcome remarks to our new president and dean, and we'll start with the staff.
Hello, I am Joanne Casey, the Director of the Career and Professional Development Center, and I am pleased to offer a greeting and welcome to Dean Carlarne on behalf of the staff of Albany Law School. For 3 decades, I have had the privilege of serving Albany Law School, working under the guidance of 6 different deans. Throughout this journey, I've come to understand the qualities that distinguish a good dean from a great one. A good dean possesses emotional intelligence, sound judgment, and the ability to be a calming force in challenging times. They are good listeners with unwavering integrity. A great dean not only encompasses all these qualities, but also invites you to share the journey ahead. Since our first meeting with Dean Carlarne, and in the short time she's been with us, she has not only demonstrated these qualities, but she has exceeded our expectations. Dean Carlarne has been transparent in her communications, sought our opinions, and offered hers with humility. She has shown the staff the highest level of respect, instilling trust in our abilities. Her proactive initiatives clearly demonstrate her unwavering commitment to advancing Albany Law School toward the future. On behalf of myself and the entire staff at Albany Law School, I want to extend our heartfelt congratulations to Dean Carlarne on being named the 19th President and Dean of Albany Law School. We are genuinely excited to embark on this journey with you.
Good evening, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, students, alumni, friends of Albany Law School, and of course, President and Dean Cinnamon Pignon Carlarne, who we're celebrating today. I am Jermaine Cruz, the Assistant Dean for Diversity and Inclusion, and I'm pleased to offer a greeting and welcome to Dean Carlarne on behalf of the staff of Albany Law School. It is with a great deal of sincerity and gratitude that I offer these words of welcome to our 19th President and Dean. In her short time here, Dean Carlarne has proven to be a collaborative, compassionate, intentional, innovative, and thoughtful leader and colleague. The law school has been met with several challenges in her short time here. However, Dean Carlarne has led us through those challenges with a uniquely innate combination of compassion and intellectual adroitness. Her balanced approach to leadership leaves room for celebrating victories while also being honest and forward-thinking about opportunities for institutional growth and learning. In addition, Dean Carlarne wholly understands that diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging are not simply buzzwords, but the cornerstone of a thriving community. She wholly understands that being a good leader is more than just guiding this institution to success, but that it also means fostering an environment where there is actual value in differing opinions and perspectives, and one where everyone is seen, heard, and respected. Dean Carlarne has developed an institutional framework for everyone, students, staff, faculty, alumni, and community partners alike, to feel empowered to contribute their best, knowing their unique contributions are accepted, celebrated, and needed. She is an ally in the fight for equity and justice and uses her voice fully to remind our community that our collective strength lies in our ability to come together, learn from one another, and create an environment that reflects the richness of the world around us. As we embark upon this next chapter in Albany Law School's history and legacy, I look forward to walking by her side on this journey with renewed purpose and commitment to reaching our full potential as a law school community. So again, I welcome you on behalf of the staff of Albany Law School, and I thank you for your commitment, your energy, and your leadership.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Max Seaver, and I am a 3L, and I am the Executive President of the Student Bar Association. On behalf of the Student Bar Association and the student body, I am pleased to offer this greeting to our new President and Dean, Cinnamon Carlarne. I have had the privilege to work closely with Dean Carlarne this semester, and I am confident she will lead our school well. To be candid, I think there is a certain level of skepticism when any institution welcomes a new leader. Will this person fit in with the culture? How is our school going to change because of this person? However, Dean Carlarne has taken the time over the last few months to understand us students. Our student body is hardworking, diverse, and involved. With an extensive moot court program, 3 top-tier journals, and 40 different student organizations, there is certainly a variety of backgrounds, interests, and talents reflected in Albany Law's student body. From the beginning, Dean Carlarne was willing to participate, listen, and get to know us. Dean Carlarne recognizes not only what makes us unique, but also what unites us. Dean Carlarne shares a vision with our student leadership to solve problems through a student-centered lens. The Student Bar Association and the student body are excited to continue working with Dean Carlarne to build upon the strategic plan, ensure students are prepared for a meaningful career in the law, and, importantly, find ways to seek justice in our society for those who have been so wrongfully denied it. With that, I am so honored to welcome Dean Carlarne to the Albany Law School family.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Isabella Napadano, and I am your student trustee. Today, I'm pleased to offer a greeting and welcome to our new president and dean, Cinnamon Pignon Carlarne, on behalf of the students of Albany Law School. Today, I'd like to talk about the pride I have in our Albany Law School family, which not only includes our faculty, staff, and students. It includes our esteemed alums, many of whom have traveled long distances to support us here today. It includes our extended family, or every lawyer in the Capital Region who may not be an alum, but has probably supervised an Albany Law School intern at some point, judged a moot court competition, or even gifted their time as guest speakers. And last but not least, it certainly includes every client our students and faculty have helped serve through the Edward P. Swire Justice Center and other pro bono programs. And thus, what makes me most proud when thinking of Albany Law School is that we inspire belonging and inclusion. No call here is ever left unanswered. And what I admire most about Dean Carlarne is that she truly values the depth and loyalty of our community. And this appreciation has not gone unnoticed. It has been heartwarming to see the student body, faculty, alums, and broader community welcome Dean Carlarne with open minds and open hearts. And so, although Dean Carlarne has been a part of our family since day one, it is an honor for me today, on behalf of the student body, to officially welcome her to our family. Thank you.
Good afternoon, dear members of our extended Albany Law School community. My name is Ray Brescia, Associate Dean for Research and Intellectual Life here at the Law School, but today it is my distinct honor to serve as a representative of the faculty to express our words of welcome to our new President and Dean, Cinnamon Carlarne. Whenever a new leader enters into a community, one never knows for certain how she is going to lead. For President Carlarne, however, the type of leader she would be was always hiding in plain sight. Her leadership style was as evident from her vast scholarly record. And I submit to you that from that scholarship, one can divine what we are starting to realize is the Carlarne School of Leadership. What a review of that scholarship reveals are some key themes, even just some words and phrases that help provide some insight into who she is as a leader. Words like energy, ecosystem, stewardship, phrases like duty of care. And what a perfect crystallization of President Carlarne. She is an energetic, caring steward of our ecosystem, our community. What is more, one can look at the title of just one of these articles to get what I think is the essence of her tenure so far, and which I am sure will endure. Do you know which one it is? You're bated breath. Broadening the branches and deepening the roots. And how perfect is this? Is she for this moment in Albany Law School's history? We must broaden and extend our recent successes while building on and deepening our long and storied tradition and history. We must rise to the challenge of extending our reach and impact while remaining true to our core values. And it should be clear to all that we are in good hands in this moment. On behalf of the faculty, we formally welcome you, President Carlarne, as we all commit to join you as energetic, caring, ecosystem stewards of our community who will extend our branches and deepen our roots.
Good afternoon. I am Justice Elizabeth Gary, a member of the class of 1990 and serving as presiding justice of the Appellate Division, 3rd Department. I am pleased to offer a greeting and welcome to Dean Carlarne on behalf of the judiciary. Although Albany Law alum live and work far and wide, it bears noting that a great majority of judges within the Capital Region are, like me, proud alumni, and I see many of them in the audience today. We share a deep and profound sense of connection and gratitude because this school was transformative in our lives. It gave us what we needed to serve the public and do this work that we love. And of course, keeps on giving to students today. Those of us who studied elsewhere have similarly forged connections with Albany Law School due to the strong partnerships that have been established throughout the legal profession and community. As you take the helm of this institution that means so much to so many, it is my distinct honor to welcome you on behalf of my colleagues and to offer support, best wishes, and congratulations.
Good afternoon. I am here in my role as mayor of the city of Albany, but I am also here as a proud alumni and a long-serving member of the Board of Trustees of this very special place. And so for me, the leader of this institution is both personal and professional. The importance of it is something that impacts me as I think about the incredible opportunities that existed here and continue to exist here when we find leaders like Dean Carlarne to carry forward the nearly 175-year tradition of this law school. And it is important to me as a mayor, knowing how important this institution is, not only as an integral part of a broader ecosystem that educates and prepares our future leaders, but this provides an intellectual laboratory to help solve really vexing problems. And this institution has always been here for this city and this broader capital region as we seek to solve the challenging problems that are at our door, some that come unexpectedly, and those that we see coming down the road. Through the work of this institution, we are better able to lead. We are better able to say yes and to stand up and say we can handle these challenges knowing that this institution is here to support us, to guide us, and to be part of the future of our city. And so I am grateful and thrilled that we were able to find a leader who leads with compassion, with thoughtfulness, with empathy, traits that are so important, particularly today, when we need to come together, have productive conversation, find ways of getting past the noise, to roll up our sleeves and solve challenges and build community and ensure that we are demonstrating to those who look to us as leaders that there is reason for hope and optimism about the future. Dean Carlarne embodies that, and I look forward to the impact that she will have not just on this amazing and special institution, but on our city, on our state, and on our nation. Welcome.
Thank you all for your warm greetings and welcome to our new leader. I certainly thank my colleagues and our students, but in particular, we really would like to thank Justice Gary and Mayor Sheehan. Thank you for all that you do, and your partnership is really welcome. Thank you so much. As the oldest independent law school in the nation, Albany Law School has had the distinction and good fortune to convey honorary degrees on some of the nation's leading jurists, attorneys, public policy, and government leaders, including Secretary of State John Foster Dulles, Roberta Kaplan, a renowned civil rights litigator, the Honorable Judith Kaye, the first woman to serve as Chief Judge of the State of New York, and Edward P. Swire, local business leader and philanthropist, and even Alexander Hamilton. True story. At this time, I invite President and Dean Carlarne, Dan Grossman, Chair of the Board of Trustees, and President Gary Jenkins to join me in front of the stage. Gary W. Jenkins, you are president of Bates College and a nationally respected authority on nonprofit organizations, corporate governance, lawyers and leadership development, and higher education, and you are an award-winning scholar and academic administrator. Prior to arriving at Bates in July of 2023, you served for 7 years as Dean and William S. Patty Professor of Law at the University of Minnesota Law School. As the law school's chief academic and administrative officer, you helped to enhance the school's overall ranking, academic quality, and the diversity of the student body. The law school's endowment nearly doubled during your deanship, and you successfully completed the largest fundraising campaign in the school's history. You previously served as the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and the John C. Elam Voorhees Sater Professor of Law at The Ohio State University, Moritz College of Law. You see a trend here, right? At Moritz, you've co-founded and directed the program on law and leadership, one of the first such programs at a U.S. law school. You were Chief Operating Officer and General Counsel of the Goldman Sachs Foundation, whose goal is the betterment of humanity worldwide, focusing on health and education, and a corporate transactional attorney with the New York City-based law firm Simpson, Thacher, and Bartlett. You began your professional career with Prudential Financial. Following law school, you served as law clerk to the Honorable Timothy K. Lewis at the United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit. You received your bachelor's degree from Haverford College, and you earned a master's degree in public policy from the Harvard Kennedy School and a Juris Doctor from Harvard Law School, where you were editor-in-chief of the Harvard Civil Rights, Civil Liberties Law Review.
By virtue of the authority vested by the Regents of the University of the State of New York in the trustees of Albany Law School, and by them in me, I confer upon you, Gary W. Jenkins, the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa with all the rights and privileges appurtenant thereto.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce the 9th president of Bates College, Gary Jenkins.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Chairman Grossman and the Board of Trustees, distinguished faculty, students, staff, alumni, and friends of Albany Law, I've been looking forward to this day for some time, so I am just so pleased to be with you on such a happy occasion and to celebrate Albany Law School and the inauguration of my dear friend, Cinnamon Carlarne, the 19th president and dean. So first, I'd like to start by just saying thank you. Thank you so much for the kind and warm welcome, and I'm humbled and grateful to receive an honorary degree and very much appreciate being an adopted member of the Albany Law School family. So thank you very much. Now, today, as I mentioned, is a celebration of the law school and of Cinnamon. I don't need to tell this crowd about Albany Law's esteemed 172-year legacy, but I can assure you that you are in magnificently capable and caring hands. Having known Cinnamon for nearly 15 years, I was the associate dean of at the Ohio State University when we recruited Cinnamon to join the faculty, and we were longtime faculty colleagues. So I can say that I am confident that Albany Law has made a splendid and inspired choice, and I am thrilled for this exciting new chapter for your law school. So congratulations to all of you. You know, changes in leadership are important, they're energizing moments for institutions, but they come with questions. Some of the questions that were asked: will our new dean represent our institution and our community? Will they appreciate what makes us special and unique? Will they bring us together? Will they move us forward? And for those of you who have gotten to know her over these past few months, I hope you know, and I can tell you, having known her for years, the answer to those questions are yes, yes, and yes. To understand Cinnamon as a leader, you have to understand her as a scholar. Her work on climate change helps people understand the whole picture, puts things in relationship and context to one another. She combines law and policy. She frequently collaborates with a wide range of scholars across disciplines, even in other countries. And if you've seen her present, she talks very fast. That's because her mind is always firing. She's so quick, she's so full of great ideas, so perceptive and thoughtful. In many ways, she also brings those same attributes to her leadership. She's focused on the big picture. She's relational, collaborative, expansive in her mindset, and called on to address what's important. She understands that diversity and excellence are intertwined. She's committed to equity and justice. She is thoughtful, ambitious, yet practical in nature. She is, in many ways, the consummate lawyer leader. A skilled lawyer, first, well known for her technical expertise and her skills as a professor and expert in environmental and climate change law, who over time transitions into important leadership positions in her organizations, first at Ohio State and now at Albany Law. For more than 20 years, part of my scholarly research and teaching has focused on lawyers as leaders, studying how lawyers move into leadership positions throughout their career, and the role that legal education can play in helping them prepare for and advance in such positions for roles both within and outside of the profession. So my basic argument is this: The legal profession has long been perceived by the public as comprising problem solvers and leaders, especially in public life. The next generation of great lawyers must not just be legal practitioners, but also highly capable leaders. Leaders who are ready to operate in a constantly changing, interconnected, and interdependent world. Law school is about preparing students for the work of lawyers. Of course, that work entails analyzing cases, interpreting statutes, thinking on one's feet, advocating client positions. But frequently, it also includes managing people, building trust, inspiring others to follow your lead, mobilizing people, practices, habits, institutions to change, to develop new strategies, to learn new ways of operating, to clarify values. Sometimes it means finding a way when there's no clear or easy way or ready answers. So, being an effective lawyer and being an effective leader must be thought of as complementary skills. So why might understanding leadership matter? It matters to our students' careers. Successful technical or functional efforts, if you will, like lawyers, are frequently tapped for leadership positions based on their individual contributions and technical competence. However, moving from the role of technical expert to organizational leader is a challenge that, in practice, is complex. Too often, new organizational leaders are figuratively thrown in to the deep end to sink or swim, to either prove that they're a natural leader or to fail miserably and never try a leadership role again. But what if those folks had some training? A sense of what it took to succeed, what it looked like to thrive when the opportunities come their way. Second, understanding leadership also matters to our students' knowledge. While many assume that the traditional leadership narrative is about command, singular vision, power, or perhaps charisma, today's leadership is actually more grounded in collaboration, participation, integration, and culture creation. In other words, leadership is about developing, not controlling others. And third thing, why it might matter, it matters to the world. As our political and social discourse becomes increasingly polarized, the world becomes more dangerous. And private institutions of all sizes and types wield enormous power and influence, sometimes affecting the lives of millions. Effective leadership becomes one of the most pressing needs of our time. Simply put, the world demands great leaders. Now, for a long time, a law degree was regarded as a golden ticket, offering entree to prestigious, high-profile positions in a wide variety of sectors and fields. Lawyers constitute disproportionately high numbers of our political leaders, our business leaders, our civil society leaders. In fact, no other profession has accounted for more leaders in the public sector. But we also, as I said, serve in large numbers in the nonprofit sectors and in America's corporate C-suite. My research has documented a dramatic increase in the percentage of lawyers holding those most powerful C-suite positions in our Fortune 50 companies over the past 30 years, a whopping 89% increase. Now, I say all this to show that leadership education complements and enhances legal expertise. If lawyers are going to continue to step into leadership roles, they must be prepared to provide the kind of leadership our institutions need to carry out their work in ways that mend democracy by focusing on fairness, equity, reciprocity, and accountability. They must understand that leadership is something beyond individual ambition. Both law and leadership are moral activities, not merely pragmatic exercises in raw power in furtherance of a personal agenda. As a society, we cannot effectively recommit to our institutions without our lawyers leading the way. If we think about practicing anything mildly important, I don't know, skiing, golf, or medicine, or law, if you do that without training, not advisable, right? Bad things are going to happen. Similarly, practicing leadership without thought, without models, without training, I think is certainly equally less than ideal, right? I think it should actually alarm us. In fact, it could have negative effects, right? If you do it without training, it could ingrain bad habits, right? Practice makes perfect. Well, that's only if you're doing it well, if you're doing it correctly. Now, virtually all top law schools say they want to develop leaders, whether it's in a marketing brochure, in a stirring commencement address, an inauguration speech. Let me give you an example from one law school's website. I quote, what makes a name of school student? It is the drive to lead. It is the willingness to seize opportunity. It is the desire to serve, to make an impact. Or from that same school, name of school has a tradition of preparing leaders in law, government, and many other fields. It has been a stepping stone to the White House, to seats on the US Supreme Court, and innumerable distinguished careers in private practice, business, legal scholarship, and public service, end quote. Now, that distinguished law school from whose website I cited is rightfully proud and highlights its alumni who are unquestionably accomplished lawyer leaders. People like US President William McKinley, former governor and current cabinet secretary Tom Vilsack, and former corporate titan Richard Parsons, as all of you, I think, in this room have probably guessed by now, graduates of Albany Law. So the key question for education, in my mind, is this: are law schools fully embracing the opportunity to prepare lawyers to be effective leaders? Are we actually doing enough in our curriculum, in our co-curricular programming? While business schools and public policy schools have long recognized the need to integrate leadership into the core educational program, legal education, on the other hand, has largely ignored leadership as a serious subject of academic study. Yet every top 10 MBA program, for instance, has at least one required course on leadership. Stanford Business School has more than 15 different electives related to leadership. By the way, there are now leadership development offerings in pharmacy and social work programs, in medical and divinity schools, even in architecture schools. Not only can leadership be taught, but students must take the responsibility to learn it. In my 7 years as a law school dean, my 20 years as a teacher and scholar of law and leadership, I frequently spoke to general counsels at large corporations, and I asked them to tell me about the major challenges that they were facing in their jobs. And one of the most frequently cited challenges, probably among the top three, was about the leadership development needs of the lawyers on their staff. It was about growing those lawyers as leaders or some other leadership-related challenge. And we know that over the past 50 years, the size, the number of lawyers practicing law in-house in large corporations has exploded, has grown exponentially, and is causing even more challenges for those who practice in such settings. And despite what many people want to believe, being intelligent, being hardworking, while they're great, they may be requisite, they're table stakes. It's not enough to maximize career opportunities and internal organizational effectiveness. As careers grow and people move up and into complex organizations, the leadership literature suggests that certain shifts need to occur. One leadership scholar has identified 3 major shifts: a recognition that soft skills start to trump functional and hard skills as you make that transition. Second, a movement from a set of relatively finite and internal relationships to a set of diverse and often external group of stakeholders. And third, a shift from hands-on leadership to a more hands-off, inspirational style of leadership. So, at bottom, I believe in the lawyer leader. I believe that lawyers can be a force of good in our organizations and in our communities. I believe that our work matters and that our graduates are needed. I believe that the development of lawyers is too important to be to leave leadership education to business schools. I think history proves this. I think Albany Law School proves this. I also believe that in higher education, the worthiness of having teacher scholars who are devoted to academic administration is incredibly important. And that's true, especially in these tumultuous times. In fact, there's so much turbulence on our campuses today. Many reasonable people ask, why? Why would a person want to be an academic leader today? So Cinnamon, you have 3 minutes before it's too late to change your mind. No, in all seriousness, it is this law school's great good fortune to have a new president and dean who is herself a brilliant lawyer leader. Cinnamon does not wear the label of leader blithely. She inhabits it with her whole self, her whole heart, and her whole brilliant mind. She is compassionate. She is utterly committed to students and colleagues. She embodies intellectual energy and integrity. And she will, I know, model leadership in the kind of highly intentional and admirable ways that we need to do as a broader profession. Her tenure here at Albany Law School, even in moments of tumult and change, will be remarkable. Congratulations, Dean Carlarne. Congratulations, Albany Law School community. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Thank you, President Jenkins, and congratulations. And I'm hopeful that our enrollment in Lawyers as Leaders will go up after your talk. So thank you so much. I'm going to invite Chair Grossman and Dean Carlarne to please join me at the podium. I am Rosemary Queenan, the Academic Dean here at Albany Law School, and it is my honor and pleasure to formally introduce Cinnamon Pignon Carlarne, the 19th President and Dean of Albany Law School. Before I tell you about her extraordinary accomplishments, I want to congratulate her and thank her for her amazing leadership since she's arrived on our campus. It has been a pleasure getting to know her and working with you. And we are thrilled that you have joined us as our President and Dean. President and Dean Carlarne is a leading international expert in environmental and climate change law and policy with a deep commitment to environmental equity and social justice. Her scholarship focuses on the evolution of domestic and international environmental governance with a focus on questions of domestic and international climate change law. In addition to dozens of scholarly articles addressing environmental and climate change jurisprudence, way too many for me to list here, her work includes a book on comparative climate change law and policy with Oxford University Press, a Foundation Press text on climate law, the Oxford Handbook of International Climate Change Law, an extensive series of book chapters, editorials, and essays exploring questions of domestic and international environmental law, and a textbook on ocean law policies and regulation. She is also on the editorial board for transnational environmental law, the academic board for climate law, and was the co-chair of the American Society of International Law's Initiative on Climate Change and International Law. Before joining Albany Law School, President and Dean Carlarne served as the Associate Dean for Faculty and Intellectual Life at The Ohio State University Moritz College of Law. She joined the faculty at Moritz in 2011 and was named the Robert J. Lynn Chair in Law in 2022. In 2019, she was the Keeley Visiting Fellow at Wadham College in Oxford. In addition to her administrative role at Moritz, she chaired the Ohio State University Research Committee, served on the Executive Steering Committee for the Ohio State University Sustainability Institute, and the Ohio State Scholarship Nomination Committee. That might be the last one. She also served on university task forces on sustainability and faculty matters and was deeply involved in numerous other research, climate, and sustainability initiatives. Before joining Moritz, Dean Carlarne served as an assistant professor at the University of South Carolina School of Law from 2008 to 2011. And she was the Harold Woods Research Fellow in Environmental Law at Wadham College, Oxford, from 2006 to 2008. Prior to her career in higher education, she was an associate attorney in the Energy, Land Use, and Environment section at the Aiken, Gump, Strauss, Hauer, and Feld law firm in Washington, D.C. President and Dean Carlarne earned a Bachelor of Arts degree as a university scholar from Baylor University before going on to earn a law degree from the University of California at Berkeley. She also holds a Bachelor of Civil Law and a master's degree in environmental change and management from the University of Oxford, where she was a Marshall Scholar.
Cinnamon P. Carlarne, you have served as the 19th President and Dean of Albany Law School since July 1, 2023, and today, by the authority of the trustees vested in me as chair of the board, and in the presence of the board assembled here, as well as the students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends of Albany Law School, in front of the many delegates from our colleagues and friends at universities and colleges from across the country and around the world, and in front of your family and loved ones, I formally grant to you all the powers, rights, privileges, duties, and responsibilities as President and Dean of Albany Law School. Congratulations.
Thank you all so much, and thank you, Dan. I really appreciate it. You know, it's so funny. Whenever I stand up to talk in public like this, I suddenly hear my Texas accent come out a little bit. So I'm going to match the flag today. Good afternoon, everyone. What an honor it is to share the stage with each of these amazing folks who have spoken before me. And yes, President Jenkins is absolutely correct that I am a fast talker. So here's me trying, no promises, but trying to slow down just a little bit to take in this wonderfully overwhelming moment. This is not the first time that I have felt wonderfully overwhelmed as a member of the Albany law community. Earlier this fall, at our grand awards ceremony, I found myself feeling overwhelmed for the first time. Overwhelmed with awe and appreciation for members of our community, for our amazing alumnus and trustee, Rob Capers, sitting right over there, a true lawyer leader who is being honored with the Distinguished Alumni Award for his incredible career in public service, and whose son surprised him by showing up unannounced, bringing everyone in the room to tears, including me, as Rob saw, in appreciation for the love and respect that was so evident between them. For our distinguished faculty member, Professor Pat Rahan, who is being honored with the Trustee's Gold Medal for the countless ways in which she has positively shaped the lives of hundreds of our students. From an inspiring collection of our alumni who modeled leadership in multifaceted ways. Each of the honorees that night epitomized the spirit of Albany Law School. Talented, successful, and ambitious, but also public service-minded, justice-focused, and deeply community-oriented. On that occasion, I had the opportunity to share a few words of thanks and appreciation. And I said to the crowd then, and Rob probably remembers this, what I'm saying to you now. I feel a little bit overwhelmed. Not overwhelmed with nerves, although, of course, there are a few of those too, but rather overwhelmed with appreciation for the community that I get to be part of and I get to help lead. And today, each of you has had the chance to experience a little bit of what I experienced that night. You've heard from our incredible students, from Isabella Napadano, who's our student trustee, and on the executive board of the National Latino Law Student Association, and so much more. And Max Seaver, who's our Student Bar Association president, and future judicial clerk, and an incredible leader. You've also heard from our exceptional staff, from members of our world-class faculty, from the chair of the Board of Trustees, and from two of our alumni who model leadership, from Justice Gary, the presiding justice of the Third Department and the recipient of numerous humanitarian and leadership awards, and the Honorable Kathy Sheehan, who is in her third term as mayor of the city of Albany and is the first female mayor in the history of the city. These folks represent the heart of who and what Albany law is, and I couldn't be prouder to be part of this team. And then we had the honor of hearing from one of my greatest mentors and role models. I'm not going to cry. President Gary Jenkins. President Jenkins was among the first people to really help me appreciate and understand the importance of centering a vision of lawyers as leaders in legal education. And throughout his life and career, has modeled what it means to be a leader in the fullest sense, with vision, with focus, with humor, and with the appreciation for the passion and persistence that it takes to create an environment where individuals can be the best version of themselves and do so in a way that lifts and advances the well-being of the entire community. I am honored to share the stage with you, Gary, and grateful to you for your friendship, your mentorship, and your leadership. We are so very proud to have you as an honorary alum and inspired by your vision of the lawyer leader. Now, following in the footsteps of each of the folks who have stood at the podium before me, I'm mindful of something that Chief Judge Rowan Wilson said during his swearing-in ceremony earlier this year. Many of you may have attended. He said, "The bigger the job, the more important the team." And today, this is what I celebrate, the amazing team that I've joined, the community that I'm part of, the family of Albany Law School. My appreciation for this community already runs deep, as do my thanks and appreciation to each of you for being here today, to the students who are here on their very last day of class, to the faculty who are here on a Friday afternoon at the end of the semester, to the staff who are the lifeblood of the institution, to the trustees whose support is so essential, to our incredible alumni who I will go out on a limb to say are the most supportive and dedicated law school alumni in the country, to the many presidents, deans, and delegates who are here today representing other institutions of higher education, and to the many others who are here representing our local and state communities. To each of you, I express my thanks and my commitment to serving alongside you to ensure that Albany Law School continues to thrive as a center of excellence and inclusion. I also want to say a huge thank you to the team who helped pull together this amazing event. The time, energy, thought, and detail that has gone into bringing us together as a community is truly incredible, and we're grateful to you, and you represent us in this. And finally, I want to pause and breathe deeply and try to slow down a little bit if I'm going fast, to center the spotlight on my friends and family who are so deeply deserving of the thanks, love, and appreciation tonight. To Paul Rose, where are you, Paul? Paul Rose and Kathy Northern, who I found immediately so I could put my eyes on her, who were not just my Ohio State colleagues, sorry, not the Ohio State colleagues, but my family. To the kind and supportive family of my partner, Keith Hirakawa, including Ron and Jean Hirakawa, Kevin and Joanne, and their wonderful Owen and Ethan. To my own family, to my mom and daughter who are here today, and to whom I'll come back to shortly. And to all those members of my family, my dad, my sister, my nephew, my grandmother, and cousins who couldn't be here today, or if we're being really honest, really politely declined to come north in the cold. I love them anyway. I'm grateful and inspired by each and every one of you. And to my partner, Keith, as the infinitely wise Elizabeth Barrett Browning said, you're something between a dream and a miracle. And to be fair, she was then complimented by her fellow poet and husband at the time, Robert Barrett Browning, who said, love is the energy of life. Grow old with me, the best is yet to be. And speaking of the best is yet to be, the same is true for Albany Law School. Today, in our few moments together, and very few, I promise, I want to focus on two things. What brought me here today, and why I believe so deeply in the mission, spirit, and ambitions of Albany Law School. Many of you will be familiar with the renowned author and teacher, Bell Hooks, whose work on belonging pushes us to think critically about who we are, how we are situated with respect to our world, and what this means for our roles and responsibilities as members of a community. Today, really all days, I draw on Bell Hooks to center my thoughts about community and leadership, about what it means to be part of the Albany law community and to be part of the small but powerful community of people who shape the rule of law, and the opportunities and obligations that attend to being a member of these communities. I want to focus on community because it's the defining feature of Albany Law School. As you've experienced today, Albany Law is defined by our amazing people and the strength of our collective commitment to the school. This commitment to community is what brought me here, what motivates me, and what we are all truly celebrating today. So first, just a word about the journey that brought me to Albany Law School. We are all shaped by our families, those we're born into and those we choose, by our communities, and by our life experiences. My journey, in common with the journey of many, has been far from linear and far from smooth. It's taken me from rural Texas to the southernmost parts of Ecuador, through the magical alleys of Oxford and beyond. It's been filled with moments of great joy and periods of great pain. Across these journeys and amidst the headwinds of life, there are two bookends to my life. Well, usually there's just two bookends, but there are two bookends to my life that are pivotal to me standing here today. The bookends to my story are my grandmother and my daughter, with my wonderful parents in between. Parents always get short shrift. Mine deserve much more, and I really could spend all day telling you about my mom, her strength and kindness and insightfulness. Hopefully you'll get to meet her. And my dad, who's too wimpy of the cold to be here, but his brilliance and his leadership. But I want to talk about my grandmother, Maxine Nims, and my daughter, Matilda Carlarne, because of how they've influenced my understanding of life and leadership. My grandmother is 105 years old, and she is sharper than a tack. She's constantly reminding me of things in my life. She was full-time in the workforce at a time when this was not the norm. She has lived through just about everything one can imagine, and she is without doubt one of my greatest inspirations as to what it means to live and to lead. She wasn't a college graduate. I'm wearing her high school graduation ring. She wasn't the boss in her career, yet she was and is a leader. So what made her a leader? When people speak, she listens, and in turn, when she speaks, people listen. She wakes up every day not just grateful to be alive, but determined to be the protagonist in her own story. She is constantly listening and constantly learning, and believe me, she also takes no nonsense. She and my daughter, Tilly, are 90 years and 10 days apart. Yet they are not only the best of friends, but they also share certain things in common. They are kind and empathetic. They are tough and persistent. They work incredibly hard and have high expectations of themselves and those around them. They are resilient in the face of change and hardship. They are inclusive and understand that the world is so much bigger than themselves. They're also both super stubborn, but that's not going to be my theme tonight. I mentioned the two of them here today because I love them, but also because they embody a way of living that centers the importance of listening, learning, community, resiliency, and inclusion. And I share this vision of life and leadership, a vision centered on listening and inclusivity, community, intentionality, and ambition. More importantly, Albany Law School embodies this vision. That it really embodies that vision in its mission to advance a model of education centered around listening and learning, and that is grounded in a vision of community premised not just on high expectations and hard work, but also on inclusion and nimbleness in the face of ongoing change. Change in the legal environment, changes in society, changes in our understanding of what equity and justice mean. This mission is what brought me to Albany Law School. It's why we celebrate the school today. And Albany Law School is incredibly strong and poised to continue building and evolving, so I'll brag for just a moment. We're #1 in the nation for government law, and you can see why. We have an A+ rating for practical learning, one of only 17 schools in the country to receive that grade. And the heart of that rating is our Edward P. Swire Justice Center, of which we are so proud, which is thriving and changes the lives of our students and members of our community every day. We are top ranked in our health law program, in our crim law program, and our career placement numbers are phenomenal. We are a thriving community, a community that's evolving together and is committed to our mutual growth and success. So, returning to bell hooks, who reminds us that honesty and openness is always the foundation of insightful dialogue, I stand here today in celebration of Albany Law's commitment to learning and excellence, but also to open and honest dialogue, to critical thinking, to collective aspirations to conceive and construct the rule of law as a powerful tool for progress, good, and inclusion. Each of us arrives here today in this space, this awesomely iconoclastic law school gym, from very different places. We come here shaped by an endless diversity of experiences, perspectives, and goals. But in this space, we are committed to working together to create a shared sense of place. Albany Law School creates the space for our community members to lean into who they are, what they know, what they hope for, while also being open to learning and evolving, and to understanding that the law touches each of us in our communities in distinct ways, and that law is never fixed, but always evolving. And this is the journey that I'm on with this community, and the mission I'm committed to creating a space of true learning, an exceptional and transformative educational experience, a community of listeners, and a community of intentional leaders. So thank you to everyone for being here tonight, and thank you to the Albany community, and may our journey together be one of learning, positivity, and progress.
As Chief of Staff, I'm so excited to work with you personally. As Vice President for Advancement, I'm very excited to be working with you. Yes. You think we're kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have another round of applause for our 19th President and Dean, Cinnamon Carlarne. So thank you for joining us here this evening. Please join us for a celebratory reception in our East Foyer on the main floor of this building. I would now like to ask our bagpiper and drummer to help us conclude this program and lead the stage procession. Now, I ask that you please remain in your seats until the procession has concluded. Thank you for being with us today.